Hey, want to know a secret? Today I'm going to show you what you can do with the tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Courtney. Today I'm going to be giving you tons of ideas for those tumbling tower blocks that you can find at Dollar Tree. Thank you to Mixtiles for sponsoring today's video. I'll share a little bit about that later on. Now let's get crafting. Let's dive into this first DIY. I'm going to be using a total of 74 tumbling tower blocks for this project. I will make sure to put all the counts for the tumbling tower blocks for these different projects down in the description box along with everything I'm using today. Now for this, you want to pair up your tumbling tower blocks. I'm going to take 2 of them and glue them together. I'm using Starbond products. If you've not seen me use it, it's just the spray I'm putting on there is an accelerator. It basically makes this dry super fast, and I just didn't want to wait around for it to take too long. So I'm going to spray that down and put the glue and pair these off. At this point, this is where you can customize this project. I decided that I am going to stain mine with some Early American Stain by Minwax. You could leave this natural, you could paint it, or again, you could stain it any color that you'd like. Now you want to grab a block. I've got 2 different sizes here. You can decide which one you want to go with. I end up using the smaller block. It's going to be a spacer for us. So you want to start with a pair of the tower blocks, and you want to make sure that you lay it down so that you can see them side by side, not on top of each other. And you're going to end up using that cube, like I said, as a spacer. So you're probably wondering, Courtney, what in the heck are you making? I am making a curved, I guess you could call it like wooden basket, wooden display. And to get that curve, that's why you need that block. So you want to start by gluing your blocks together. Definitely do not use hot glue for this because it will not hold. So if you'd like to use wood glue, definitely use that with a little bit of patience on the side, or you could use a fast drying, strong adhesive like this. Once you start to glue it, to get that curve, you want to make sure that you lift the block just slightly so that you can have a curve. You don't want them flush against each other to where it's flat all the way across, but definitely just lift it slightly. You could get a really massive curve by lifting it a lot. Here is kind of what it looks like. I'm sorry, it's going to be a little out of focus here, but you can see that it's not flush all the way. It's curved up. Here is a better image for you to see the curve. Now the size of this is up to you, but the way I started it is I did a row of 1, and then a row of 2, a row of 3, all the way up to 6, and then back down again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You could add as many as you'd like to make whatever size you want, and again, you could do a sharp curve, like where it really curves up, or just do a more gradual curve like I did. For this DIY, you will need a total of 40 tower blocks. You want to start by gluing these together in pairs of 2, so that's going to leave you with 20 sets of 2 blocks that are glued together. The next step that we're going to do here is to take 5 of these sets of 2 and glue them together to make a side, and you'll end up with a total of 4 sides. You will also want to grab 4 cubes. The size is up to you. These are the larger cubes from Dollar Tree. I'm using some brown wax to paint all over these. And then from there, I decided on my planter, I wanted to make it two-toned. So I'm going to paint the bottom portion of them with some of this brown wax. And the top portion, I'm going to paint white. You can customize this if you want to leave it natural. Again, totally up to you. Paint the whole thing. Don't make it two-tone. Lots of options to fit your style. Now is the time to start assembling this, and to do that I'm going to take some hot glue and glue all 4 sides together. And now I it was kind of an afterthought, but I realized, hey, this probably needs a bottom on it. So I ended up taking a few more tower blocks and hot gluing those into the base, but you might want to do that before you glue all 4 sides on there, just to make it a little easier on yourself. Once you've glued in a base, then you want to add those 4 blocks for the legs. And again, I'm just using some hot glue in the corners of the planter to get that finished. And the last step here is to add something along the middle where the white and the brown meet. That's why I wasn't too concerned about how neat it was. I decided to go with black ribbon, but you could use twine here, or you could even use some half wooden beads. That would look nice as well. Now this one is a super easy one. I needed a coaster for my desk, so I decided, you know what, let's whip one up. You'll need a total of 12 tower blocks for this particular coaster. You're gonna start by taking 3 of them and gluing them together. Again, I am using a strong adhesive glue just to make sure that this stays extra sturdy. With the sets of 3 put together, now we want to glue them all together. I'm using a strong adhesive glue and turning them in different directions. Once that was all secure, I decided I wanted to stain mine again with that Early American stain by Minwax. And then the last step is to add, after you've sealed it of course, a cork sheet to the bottom of the coaster. For this DIY, I was really liking the 3 pattern of that coaster, so I decided I wanted to make essentially a little bit bigger of a coaster, but turn it into a trinket tray. So I'm starting with a base. This is just a piece of the foam board from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to decide how large I want to make my tray, and then I'm going to glue my pieces down directly onto the foam board using some hot glue. For this tray, I ended up using 27 tumbling tower blocks, but again, make it whatever size you'd like. For the sides, I didn't want to use the tumbling tower blocks because I just didn't want them to look all choppy, so I decided to take some paint stir sticks that I had from the hardware store and use those as my sides. I'm going to measure them out and then use my miter shears to cut the sides down and then hot glue them directly to the sides of the trinket tray. My original plan here was to leave this natural, but after looking at it, I thought, don't really like this that much. So I took some painter's tape, taped the inside of the tower blocks, kept those natural, but for the edges, I went around with some white paint, and then my little trinket tray was all finished. You could add some little feet to this if you wanted to raise it up a little bit, but up to you if you'd like to do that. Let me take a quick minute to tell you about Mixtiles. If you are a fan of gallery walls and want to get those pictures off of your phone, definitely check out Mixtiles. You can use their app or order online on your desktop. It's super easy. You simply put in your information, go through and pick out your favorite photos. They have several different frames to choose from. Pick out which frame you'd like, and then enter the promo code 25creative to get 25% off your order. Once your package comes comes. It's nicely packaged in a box. You simply take them out of the box. You don't need a hammer. You don't need nails. You don't need 3M strips. You simply peel off the backing of the frame, stick it on the wall, and if you need to reposition it, it's so easy. Simply pull it off, stick it back on, and it doesn't damage your wall. You can click my link in the description box and use code 25creative to get 25% off. It's valid for 30 days, or you can also just simply scan the QR code here on the screen. Now back to the DIYs. Now this DIY turned out a little different, if I'm being honest, but we're gonna roll with it. So for this one, you'll want to start with 15 of these tumbling tower blocks. Put them side by side like this to make it a little bit easier, and you will need some ribbon. I'm using a 1/4 inch wide ribbon, and you're gonna glue 2 pieces of the ribbon down to the tower blocks. Now you don't want to stretch the ribbon super tight. You just want to tack it down, the 2 pieces spaced a little bit in the middle section of these tumbling tower blocks. Now grab yourself one of these faux metal looking napkin rings from Dollar Tree, and look what we're doing there. We're making a funky looking napkin ring, but the reason we glued these to ribbon is that it will keep the pieces kind of close together and give you the flexibility to wrap them around, plus it'll keep it extra secure. So it was really easy. I just glued the ribbon directly to it, wrapped it around, and that was it. Again, if you wanted to stain it, if you wanted to paint it, totally up to you. I just left mine natural, but there you go. A totally different, bulky, kind of chunky, especially if you've got a big napkin ring that you can use for your entertaining. And what's one of my DIY videos without trying to make some type of lamp? So here is a glass vase. Now this one does look like the Dollar Tree vase, but it actually came from H-E-B with the floral arrangement, but I would say it's pretty similar. You want to start with 5 tumbling tower blocks kind of placed around the bottom of them. Here I have them laying flat, but then I quickly realized, nope, that's not the way to go. So you do want to stand them up on your side. Now this lamp ended up using 75 tower blocks, but again, it's going to depend on the height of the vase that you're using. So once you space them out around the glass vase, and I'm going to get smart here in a minute, but it takes me a minute to get to that point. You're going to start by doing 5 and then going on the next row and placing those on top of those, and you're just going to continue this pattern all the way around. Now, I started doing this, I started hot gluing them down, and then I realized, okay, if I have a Lazy Susan, this will make it so much easier. So highly recommend you starting this project on a Lazy Susan. And what you want to do is, as you're gluing, just make sure that your tower blocks are lining up as you stack them up on each level. So as you go, even though they're offset from each other, you will have, I guess, you can call them sides, where the tower blocks should be nice in a row, and then your lamp will look really nice. And like I said, I just continued this process. I did use hot glue for this, and you could put a candle in there if you'd like to, or you could do some fairy lights and make it, or even a puck light and make it a little tabletop lamp. And there you go, a round of DIYs using the tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree. Let me know down below which one of these DIYs was your favorite. Also let me know, have you made something really cool with the tumbling tower blocks? I'd love to know. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Here are some more videos you might enjoy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!